Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Bobby.
Hi, I'm Bob Anderson, an alcoholic. I want to thank Nancy for asking me out here too, and all you people for being here. You know, the birthdays are special, whether they're your birthday or mine, because they do represent, the candles do, they represent a lot of struggle and a lot of unhappiness and happiness and a way of life that never was there before. And glad to see Chris and Bernard get their chips. That's real special too. You know, this, I don't talk in a drunkalog very long, but I want to qualify. There was only one newcomer held his hand up here, but if he's anything like I was when I got here, I didn't know what the hell I was doing here. I didn't know why I was here at all. And there's no sense, I don't believe that there's a message in talking about drunkalogs. I don't think that it's necessary to tell you how drunk I got and what really happened other than the qualifying. And so that's about what I'll do. And so I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and I started drinking young when I was 15. My dad owned a garage. I've been a garage mechanic, automobile, trucks, forklifts, anything, all my life. I still am. And I started drinking in bars, shot and beers, right when I was 15, playing bingo and just living a life. And I teamed up with a bike crowd. I run around with tough gals, tough guys, and I did everything just like any alkie did. I found a world out there that I could find this world only through the bottle, because the life that I had started out real rough, real tough. It was a dirty life. But the booze made it acceptable. And so I went for some period of time, and I went into service and different things and that. But there was one bar that I wound up in, you know, and this bar that I wound up in, where there was an ice man who used to deliver ice there. He'd come in the back door, and I'd be sitting at the bar, and I'd be hungover, and I'd be sick and all kinds of troubles, and he'd be whistling and carrying a big keg of ice on his shoulder, and go sling it in the cooler, come around, sit alongside of me, and he never once ever laid anything on me at all. And he never said anything about my condition and everything else. But see, all of the bartenders and the owners of these joints, especially this one joint, would tell me, why don't you talk to Steve? He used to be like you. And he's not like that today. So this went on for a period of time. Well, during that time before that, I had seen a great deal of trouble, you know, and I had been a lot of places. I was in the Navy, and then I used to wind up in hospitals all the time. I was always getting bones set or getting sewed up, you know, and I'd always be in trouble and everything. But that's just a description of drunken behavior, you know, because if you drank as much booze as I drank, well, you'd have to do what I did too, because you can't see good enough to even ride a motorcycle, let alone a car or anything else. So there came a time I worked dealerships. I worked Lincoln Mercury at Ford, and I worked real hard, and I got to be service manager, and I held that job for probably a couple of years, and there came a time that I got fired, drunk, and I yelled for help. And I yelled for help was Ed Stevens, his name was, the Iceman. He was a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and Steve had 9 years at Alcoholics Anonymous, and his birthday then was in December 1943. And my birthday is in December 13th, 1952. I've had 40 years in Alcoholics Anonymous, and this is continuous sobriety. 40 years. Now, I didn't come to stay 40 years. You know damn well I didn't. But I've got to tell you that, because you see, there's a message. See, and I know this, and there's a message here in Alcoholics Anonymous, but I couldn't hear this message for a long time. And so I started out in Alcoholics Anonymous. Steve put me in an alky hospital. They put you in a bed that's screwed to the floor, and it's got straps. They spread you out, strap you down, fill you full of formaldehyde, leave you there 24 hours in a locked room, And then if you're still living, the doctor examines you and they take you out, you know. And that's the way they detox you in them days, you know. So I go out of that hospital into a church and into a basement, into a meeting like this meeting here, and I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I can remember it, but I don't know what happened even. And that started Alcoholics Anonymous. And see, for the next 2.5 years, I was the same man sober as I was drunk. I thought the same, I acted the same, my life was the same, I did everything the same, and the world I lived in was the same. And so this year started now in Alcoholics Anonymous. At that time, I heard the same message in them days. My sponsor was a step man and a God man. And I knew no God. I gave no desperation prayers to no God at no time. I never even hung around people that would even tolerate the word even. And so when I got in Alcoholics Anonymous, I heard all of these words, just like it was said tonight, all of the readings and everything else. But see, these were things that I just didn't know what for. There was no idea. So I had a wife that was an asthmatic. Every time I went on a drunk and stayed out too long, maybe 2-3 days, I'd come back and her asthma attacks would come on and go in the hospital. I had to move out here to California. I had 3.5 months back in Cleveland, Ohio, with my sponsor in AA, and then I come out here to California, and I started going to meetings. And that was over there in San Fernando. And in them days, there was only 5 meetings in the whole valley. There was Reseda, there was San Fernando, there was Radford, there was Burbank and Glendale. And you had to come over here to go to any other meetings and that. And what I'm driving at now is that I heard a great many things said here in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I listened very carefully to everything said. And I was taught steps by a sponsor. And so this life that I started to go into, I didn't know why I was even coming here. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know anything about the disease of alcoholism. I thought I just was a drunk. I just drank too damn much, you know, and I was drunk I was a real chronic drunk. I had one day in the last 2 years of my drinking without alcohol. And there's a message here, and I want to talk about a message. But I want you to understand that there was a period of time that I heard so many things said in Alcoholics Anonymous that I believed and I went along with, and I still hear it today, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. And what I'm talking about is only my opinion. I don't speak for AA, but I speak about my life because of AA. I speak about what happened to me. When I say anything at all tonight, whether it rubs you wrong or not, I'm not telling you to do something. I'm telling you about something I had to do. I'm telling you about a way of life, a message. For an alcoholic like me, with alcoholism, I got something wrong with me. And the book even tells me I'm bodily and mentally different from my fellow man, and I know this though. But I didn't know this for a long time. I thought that the message was that you come to Alcoholics Anonymous, you don't drink, you get a sponsor, you get the book, the big book, and this here will make you a winner if you hang around. It'll happen. Just attend meetings. Meetings. Man, I've lived in meetings all these 40 years. Believe me, I have. And I've read, and I've read, and I've read. And I had to find out a great many things about alcoholism and why I come here. And also why I still come here. Why should I come here if I'm not drunk? Why should I keep coming to Alcoholics Anonymous meeting? Why do I have to attend meetings? This is in the message that I'm talking about. This is describing me and only me. I'm only talking about me, and I'm never talking about anybody else. I had a sponsor that told me in the beginning that I could talk about him in relationship to my life in AA, but that's all. Leave everybody else out of my life. Don't talk about other people. Talk about yourself. Tell them what happened to you. Tell them what it's like now. Carry a message. This message. What message? The 12-step message. So I started out. I bought a GI house in March 1954. I bought a new car. I'm working. I'm not giving my money to no bartenders. I'm starting to see something now, see? I'm starting to see a life that I didn't know before. I never owned a home before. I never owned a brand new car. I had cars, sure, but they're all junkers. So I'm starting to go into this world, see? And I had this same wife that I took through the drinking years, and I spent the first 2.5 years in Alcoholics Anonymous thinking that I'm going to meetings, staying sober, and I'm at work now, and I can act any damn way I want to act. That I can treat you, whoever you are, any damn way I feel like it. That I can turn on you like a rattlesnake anytime I feel like it. Because I'm sober and I'm going to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm a winner. Man, I ain't no damn winner, believe me that. This here business, we were talking tonight about this here and about driving, and I was talking to Steve there, what I used to do when I lived in Hart Street over there, I'd be so shook up and I'd be so full of me and so full of the day and so full of yesterdays, so full of my neighbor's behavior and everybody else's behavior that I couldn't sleep at night. I'd go to bed at night, my mind's going 90 miles an hour, I have to pack my lunch, I'm working overtime and I don't even know it. See, and I'm going, and I'm thinking, I'm thinking this and I'm thinking that, I'm wondering this and wondering that. I finally had to get in my car and drive all night long in the valley over there. They didn't have the freeway there. I'd run over Sepulveda Hill even and everything. And the reason why is because I couldn't stay in bed. My mind wouldn't let me go to sleep, and it was killing me. In the mornings, I'd go to work, and I didn't have a minute's sleep. But see, what I'm describing to you, I'm describing the disease of alcoholism, and I didn't know it. And I didn't know where it was at. I didn't know how it got there even. And I didn't know that in the application of the steps, that this disease of alcoholism has to be treated there and only there. In other words, all of the meetings that I go to, even today, this doesn't treat my alcoholism. It doesn't. See, this meeting here, I don't know how you look at it. See, this is part of the message that I carry and I believe is necessary, even for that one newcomer there, is that you can attend these meetings, you can live here, and your disease keeps going on. You keep getting sicker. You keep looking at people funnier. You keep looking at alcoholics, true buddies, true bureau friends and everything else, wanting to know what they're up to, what the hell they're doing this for, what they're doing that for. Always looking, and being restless, irritable, discontented. When I read that in the big book, when Dr. Silkworth is talking about alcoholics drink for the effect because they're restless, irritable, and discontent, I thought he meant when you were drunk. Hell no, man. That's me when I'm sober. That's me all the time. This here, what I'm talking about now, I had to go for so long in AA thinking that I could become a winner, thinking that I could read steps or hear you read them, and that there is the message that's going to keep me sober. It's going to change the character I am. It's going to make me happy, joyous, and free so that I'm not restless, irritable, and discontent. No way. No way at all. I tried this first 2.5 years. I did nothing. I fought everybody. I fought everything. I didn't want God in my life, and I wouldn't even say the Lord's Prayer. Over at Receipt over there, I'll never forget this. They used to be at a meeting like this, and it comes to the close of the meeting, and they'd say, Anderson, lead us in the Lord's Prayer. We'd all get up and stand around, and we'd still be standing there now if you waited for me to lead. There ain't no damn way I'm going to say that, Somebody else would pick up on it. 2.5 years. I heard a man, I heard an alcoholic at a stag meeting in San Fernando, and this man talked different. Now, I knew myself that there was something wrong with me, but I didn't know what it was. And so I heard this guy, and I watched him and week after week, and he was always talking about his good life, the day he was in. He was talking about cutting grass. He was talking about his wife and kids. He was talking about going to the parks and vacations, and he was doing all kinds of things like that with his mind. My mind was still over there in the freeway wanting to run you off the road and kill you. My mind was still thinking about all of the crap of yesterday and yesteryears and all of the money I lost and all of the troubles I have and the IRS is after me and everything else. This man was there. I said, what's so damn different about you? Why do you act and talk the way? And so he told me about a God. He had a God in his life. This God was doing for him what he couldn't do for himself. He said, why don't you try him? He said, whatever you got doesn't seem to be working. So, and believe me, they could read me like a book. When I used to go in San Fernando over there, and this is back in 50 and 52, 50, 53, 54, is that I'd drive in there. I'd come in the door there, and they'd look at me, and they'd say, look at Anderson, he's at it again. I'd come in, my face is all red. I just got through having some big old fight out in the street out here on the freeway or somebody around the corner, see, He didn't park right, and I told him so, So this is all about alcoholism. This is all about living in a world sober that I can't live in. When I was drunk, I was living in a world I couldn't live in either. And so I had to drink. I had to drink for the effect. And I didn't know at the time. My drinking, my alcohol that I was drinking was treating my alcoholism. I didn't know that. Nobody ever told me that. Jesus, that would have made it much easier for me to accept the fact that I was drunk all the time. Because I thought at the time, there was nothing else to do. Here I am in AA now, and I'm the same man sober. I heard this man, he talked about this God that he had. He told me how to pray. He told me what he did. I was working in Van Nuys Motors over there in Lincoln Mercury dealer alongside of Bob's on Van Nuys Boulevard. And these guys I worked with at the time, they didn't like me very well because I'd turn on you. You couldn't, you know, I'd just let you have it any time at all, you know. And they couldn't trust me, so they wouldn't associate with me. And so here I am, I'm trying to build a life. Now this man, this Elkie, was telling me how to pray, what to say, when to do it. I started doing exactly that, and only that for my life at work. That's all, no more. And so here I have a watch on my hand here on my arm, and I flag tickets. When I work on your car, I get a hard copy and I flag my name and the job I did, and I get paid that way. So I'm always looking at my watch, I'm always associating. So I kept a thing going in my head about God. Better talk to God now. It's been a half an hour, you haven't talked to him, so talk to him. Well, this is what the man told me. It was the beginning for me. I started doing this only at work. And what it was for was to get rid of my anger and hostility, to stop my brain from hating your guts so goddamn much, because I was really mad, and I was mean, and I didn't like nobody and know nothing. I was 31 years old, and I was a big guy, tough guy, and I wouldn't take nothing from nobody. And so this here now started to change me by asking something other than me to do something for me or with me. And this here started to pay off, because right away these guys started to talk to me and they'd say, Anderson, are you going to church? And I'd say, no. And they'd say, well, something's happening to you. Well, it was. What was happening to me was exactly what needed to happen to me. There had to be something else introduced into my life other than me. And I don't know that the disease of alcoholism in me now, I'm not talking about you, I've got a brain. I used that brain years ago to figure out life, to figure out how to get gals, how to get money, how to cheat, how to steal, how to get more, how to come out on top, how to race. I used to race with motorcycles, and I'd be number one all the time. I'd be road captain, everything else. I didn't know that this is the disease that I'm perfecting in my head, in my brain. I didn't know that my drinking, when I was drinking, was causing me some mental problems. My brain was getting distorted, aberrated. It was getting now so that it does today, even what it did back then, it even goes ahead. I even think ahead of time how to act, how to say, how to do something, and I don't even know what it's for yet. But I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready, man. And if you say anything wrong, I got an answer for you. You want to fire me? I'm going to tell you, don't fire me because I had troubles. My wife, same thing with her. I could tell her, man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, you know. I'll make it up to you. I'll do this, I'll do it, and turn right around and do worse. This brain I have got injured. Now, this is where the disease of alcoholism lies in me only. I've got a brain that's sick. It's distorted. It goes the perverse way all the time. It always does more than whatever it should do, and it won't do anything at all. It'll do one thing and get wrong and think that I can do it again and make it right. I continually live like that, sober. And I'm not talking about being drunk. But I had to find this out in Alcoholics Anonymous. This is the reason why I come to Alcoholics Anonymous. This is the reason why they had to strap me down on a bed that was screwed to the floor, because of my brain. Page 23 in your big book talks in there. It said it'd be academic if we never took the first drink. We wouldn't have no problems. So the disease, the trouble, the problem lies in my brain, not my body. Because here I am now. I started going into steps now. And steps, believe me, I talk steps all the time. I live by steps. I know steps. And steps are exactly what I need for me as an alcoholic with alcoholism. But it must be in a performance, and it must be in an application of today's life for today. And that's a far cry from reading it, hearing it, talking about it, working it, whatever you want to say. I don't know what working steps means. I really don't know what that means. Does that mean you read them? Or what does it mean to work them? I know this. There's a message here in Alcoholics Anonymous for each and every one of us if you have alcoholism like I have. Because in Alcoholics Anonymous, there's 12 steps. These 12 steps is a method that will treat my alcoholism. But you see, I got to go farther than that. I have to learn more than that. I have to know more than that. And what this is, this method, in this method, there's a power. Now, this power is in step 2. And it says in 2 that I came to believe in a power greater than me that can restore me to sanity. See, sanity, not sobriety, sanity. What's sanity? Sanity is soundness of mind, wholeness of mind, wellness of mind, a mind that isn't controlled by self. It isn't full of me. It isn't full of my preconceived ideas, my wants, my so-called feelings, and all these other things. It's not there. So I had to start all over again. But then you know what happened? I tried reading steps and be taught steps and do steps in the manner that I thought that was needed by what it said. And I didn't understand it. That's impossible. There's no way I can do that. But I tried anyway. I meant well, but I couldn't do well. And this what I'm talking about is the message now for an alcoholic with alcoholism, because you see, it's not a question of staying sober. It's not a question of going through divorces or death or anything else like that and not drink. That isn't what's wrong. Not in my world, that's not what's wrong. I can't live and have a relationship with another human being, regardless of who that human being is. Could be my wife, could be my friends, could be a neighbor, could be a stranger, could be anybody. Because I got something wrong with my brain that won't let me think right about what they're doing and what's happening out there. And in turn, I have to get upset. And when I'm upset, I'll make you upset. I don't give a damn who you are. I'll show you something that maybe you don't even know. And you don't even need to know, but I'm still going to show you. This is me, see? And I don't know how to live. I don't know how to act. I don't know how to tell a person I appreciate you. I think you're pretty. I don't know how to do that with any meaning behind it. I got strings attached to everything I do. Everything I do is going to favor me, going to make me a person I want to be. I want to be ahead of you. Me first. You come after me. You don't come before me. I've got an attitude in my life, and it's in my brain. And when it's not treated by the steps, by the application, by the performance, I'm the same man I've always been. This is about the message now. The 12 steps. I had to start all over again in 12 steps to live a life that God wants me to live, not the life that I think I'm going to live. You see, I worked real hard, and I saved money, and I made money, and I bought many things. I'd buy new cars. I'd buy motorhomes. I'd buy boats. I'd buy motorcycles. I'd buy dune buggies. I race. I do many things. I water ski. I travel. I do a lot of things. And I don't know what that is. I think that's okay to do that. But not the way I do it. It's not okay. You see, this is living that I think is necessary for me. This means that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to arrange my life and I'm going to put in my life what I want in my life, because that's pleasures. That's living. I want to live good. I want to have all these things that I see other people have. I think that it's all right for me to push and shove and to make things happen so that I'm okay today, that I get everything that I think I want. This is now talking about the ABCs that I know what ABCs are. Not the ABCs behind the 12 steps, but the ABCs that I know about, meaning alcoholism, ego, and self. Exactly what is that and what it's like and why it's there and who is it? It's me. I'm this person. How can I go into steps if I don't know what's wrong with me? How can I go into steps and do any application that has any quality, anything there that should be there for a way of life? There's a difference between my life and living. I know that when I quit drinking, then I started working, my living started to become good. In other words, I had a nice place to live. I had a nice car to drive. I had some good clothes. I had these possessions. These were living. My life was going to hell. Life meaning what goes on inside of my brain and my life. What I think, what I see, the way I feel, how I act. That's my life. That's not my living. And I don't know the difference between the two. So then I had to start another beginning now. My life became important to me. My life did become important to me. I want to live happy, joyous, and free. I want to have everything God offers for me. I want to live in the day that God says I can live in. This is something now for my life. This isn't living. This is not acquiring things. This is not gaining on you or having more than you. This isn't getting things now. No matter how I get them, it's okay. Whether I cheat, steal, whatever it is. This isn't that. This is something about the character that I am. The man inside that I live with. The brain that I have that talks to me. I'm a self-talker. I talk a great deal, but I talk to me. And whenever I talk to me, I listen to me. You know what me says? Do it, and I do it. Just like that. It's okay. Just do it. If you don't think so, go out on the freeway with me. I'll run you off the damn road, you know. You cut me off, I'll cut you off, you know.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think.
I got a brain that controls, it's a power, see, and I don't know this stuff because there's a lot to learn for me. When I come to Alcoholics Anonymous, I thought the name of the game was just go to meetings and stay sober, and that's all I ever heard. Man, that isn't right. That's a death sentence. That's like signing a death warrant for somebody. Because you see, I've had babies, men and women alkies, both, that took their own lives, drunk and sober, both ways. Now, the ones that took their lives drunk, I thought I could understand that a little bit anyway, because I used to get that drunk. I would get so drunk that anything could happen. I knew that, but not sober. But you see, what was wrong is that they couldn't go another day in the life they had, drunk or sober. They couldn't do it. They couldn't go through another day of anything, another day of maybe divorce, maybe anything, you name it. And so what they did, they took their own lives, deliberately, knowingly, and they were sober. I had one baby that was sober 5 years, took a 22 and shot himself right behind the ear. And he left a note. He left a note to the police and to his sister where he killed himself in their basement and all that. And in the note he left, he said that if there is a God in the hereafter, maybe I can find him there. I can't find him here. And he blew his brains out. And another one took the garden hose and stuck it up the tailpipe and got in the car and started it up. His wife's an alkie. He'd done it many times. He sat there in the kitchen with her, and they got drunk, and then they'd get in a fight, and he'd go out and kill himself. She'd go out and grab him and put him to bed and turn the car off. This time she got a little too drunk, passed out at the kitchen table. He went out there and snuffed himself out. That's the end of him. She lived about a year, and I was a pallbearer for her too. But this isn't, now what I'm saying this for is certainly not to try to scare him. You can't scare an alkie. But what it is, yeah, but you know what it is, it's part of the message that's needed. It's part of the message that Alcoholics Anonymous has here for any and all of us with alcoholism. And this is true. This is real true. Because it's so damn easy to stay sober, get a job, get maybe a girl, maybe whatever, and then think that this is all it is. That's all that's necessary. Not in my book it isn't. Because you see, I had to find out that in the ABCs, the alcoholism, ego, and self is in me. They're talking about me now. It's all about me. I had to change the plural pronoun in the book now, and instead of saying we, ourselves, us, and them, and all that, it has to be me, I. Because this is a collective program of recovery, I know that, but it's an individual application for a way of life where your drinking isn't necessary, and that puts it in a different category now because my BB brain won't say to me, you need that, I don't need that, I did this, now you got to do that, and so on like that. So this puts it in an entirely different light. See, when it says I admitted I'm powerless over alcohol, that my life is unmanageable, we're talking about me and I'm talking about me, period. So this changes everything for me because my BB brain, when it's full of me, says, I've done this, you've done it for years, man, look how many years you got, look how much, I wore these damn books out. It don't make no difference. That isn't what's wrong. What's wrong is that brain that I got, it's damaged, it'll be like that forever, till I go to the grave. The only way I could ever have any success is either get a head transplant or die, either one of the two, and that'll stop my alcoholism. But you see, this here is important to know for me because in step one, I had to learn to make a beginning in Alcoholics Anonymous. This beginning now, it doesn't make no difference what day it is. I don't give a damn how long you've been here. I don't care what you say about any damn thing at all because there is no excuse for any alcoholic in my book with alcoholism to go in a day that he's in and think that he can push and shove and control people, hurt people, damage people, use people, be a taker. I'm talking about me now. Be a taker all the time, always looking to what I can get. Please me, give me, you take care of me. See, it says in there that I admitted I'm powerless over alcohol, that my life is unmanageable. That means that this disease of alcoholism is in me. It's a disease. It's twofold nature, not two. It's a physical allergy with a mental obsession. I got a mind that's damaged. I'm different. The allergy, sure. If you don't drink, the allergy ain't going to hurt you. But the mental obsession is something that I'm going to have to look at and understand, not understand, be aware of it, of what it means to have a mental obsession, because it means that about my whole life. And it says in there that I admit I'm powerless over alcohol, and then that dash is there, and it says that my life's unmanageable, meaning an unmanageable life because of alcoholism, whether I'm sober or whether I'm drunk. Either way, doesn't make no difference. I'm the same man sober as I was drunk if I don't change, if I don't do something different, if there isn't something else in me instead of what is there. This is important what I'm saying, because all of my tomorrows are going to be for my yesterdays. Everything I did in the yesterday, I'll do tomorrow. Everything. When it's left up to me, my disease, if it's not treated, I think and act the same way. The disease of alcoholism is a mind-functioning disease. There's something wrong with my brain. It doesn't perform right. It doesn't think right. It always does the opposite of what it should do, or it does more or less of what it should do. This is something that I have to get established in me. Now, this is going to be offered again to me in step 5. But in step 1, I had to really know that there's a beginning here in Alcoholics Anonymous for each and every one of us as alcoholics with alcoholism, so that this disease can be treated, disease of alcoholism. In step 2 is where I missed the mark. I missed it so hard and so because I thought they were talking about insanity. I thought they were talking about I was insane. Man, I'm not insane. I'm a good welder, I'm a good electrician, and I'm a hydraulic engineer. I can do many, many things. I can make money, and I'm always working, always. And I'm not insane. And it doesn't mean that at all. It has no reference to that at all. It says that I'll come to believe in a power that's greater than me, that can restore me to sanity. I'm going to come to believe in something other than me. What is this something other than me? It didn't say God. It didn't say religion. It didn't say church. It didn't say my father's God, nothing like that. But it said it's a power. But I never looked at me as a power. I never understood the word power. There is, believe me, there's so much to say for me in Alcoholics Anonymous to carry a message, but if I don't make a beginning, because the beginning has to be made in step 1, 2, and 3. And this 2 is so important to me, because here I am a power. Today, I'm still a power. I don't know if you look at your life or yourself that way, but I do. And I can't use me, and I can't trust me, and I can't go to me to figure out life, to do things by myself. I mean well, I start out well, but I don't finish well. And the reason why is because of page 45 in your big book. And it talks in there about lack of power. That's my dilemma. But how am I going to find this power? Well, that's what this book is about, to enable me to find a power that will solve my problem. And this step 2 now says that I'm going to believe in something other than me. So it can't be me. It can't come from me. It isn't inside of me. It's no part of me at all. And yet I have to have it. So what is it? And what is sanity? See, sanity to me wouldn't be like getting drunk. I don't call that insanity. It could be a form of a type of insanity for an alkie anyway. But I don't think so. I think what it means is that I have to have a brain that isn't lost. It isn't powered by self. It doesn't go to the perverse way. It doesn't go to a place where it shouldn't go, or it doesn't do things the way it does it. And so what's that mean? Then see, this here is describing a power here and a power here. One of this power is me, and the other power is a power greater than me. It's understood right now to me that if I go with me, the principle says you're going to have the same life you've always had. But if I go with a power greater than me, maybe I can have something different. Maybe. And see, then the next step, when step 3 came into the picture for me, in application form now, not just talking about it, but actually doing it. And what it says in there, that I'm going to make a decision to turn my will and my life over to care of God as I understood him. Understood him means from 2. This is a program of recovery. This is a step application. This is a progressive thing. And so understood him, it doesn't mean that I understand God, because who could? But what it does mean, though, that I understood something, that here, if I go to this power that's greater than me, that I can have some results in my life to treat my alcoholism. That I can believe in something now that possibly is a God. Because if I can believe that there's a power greater than me, then why can't I make a decision? Why can't I make a decision to turn my mind, my will, in my life, what I'm doing, over to the care of something that I learned in two. And I thought, geez, that stops me from arguing against God, against whether you have a God or you don't have a God. I didn't have one. And it started to change a whole life for me. You know, there's so many things to talk about and tell. It's that this, to me, isn't a popularity contest. This is no pat on the back thing. This is no rah-rah stuff or anything else. I want to live in a world that I can live in. I want to have a brain that's clean. I want to be able to perform today with some purpose in mind. I want to feel good about my thoughts about you, whoever you are. I want to be able to tell you and show you that I appreciate you, that this life I have today is only through the grace of God. I had a sponsor that talked nothing but the grace of God. And I used to wonder at the time, the hospital I was in had on there on the wall, it said, for the grace. And then through the years, I heard many things said. And I thought at the time I knew a great deal, but I didn't know very much, because the grace of God is an undeserved gift from God. Not a gift, not a free gift, an undeserved gift. Something I didn't qualify for, something I shouldn't have. And yet God says, sure, you follow me, stay with me, I'll take care of you. I'll make sure that the answers, whatever they are, will be supplied for you. No harm will come to you. Stay with me. I had a wife I told you about, I took through the drinking years. 3.5 years in Alcoholics Anonymous. She got sick on a Thursday and died on a Sunday morning. She did everything. She didn't have to die to show me how good she was. I knew how good she was. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't understand it. But I got through it. At that time, I was just starting to build a relationship with a power greater than myself, a God, a true God, became a Lord of my life. Only through the application of the 12 steps. Not the reading, but the actual application, meaning the doing of it. Now, we were talking about that, Steve, that I had to be taught and shown what to say, what to do, how to do it, where to do it, when to do it. Not how to read it, not to tell you I know steps, because I do know steps. But I want to know, how in the hell do you do this? What do you do? Just tell me, show me, help me. You see, I had to learn a great many things here in Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not so damn smart. I'm not so tough. I don't know how to act. I don't know how to treat people. I want to be the guy that God wants me to be so I can live in His world instead of my world. This is what I'm talking about now. This is serious business. This is life and death proposition for me. I like to joke. You know I do. There's a lot of guys around here tell you I tell corny jokes all the time. But I love to laugh. But this is no laughing matter. This is something about families, about girlfriends, wives, kids. This is about a living in a world. I never lived in this world. I didn't lose it through drinking. I never knew it. I didn't know that you can have a feeling inside of yourself so damn good that you think there's nothing in the world would ever be better than that. The next day, God will do something different and I'll have something better than that. Just like that. This is all about the life that I'm talking about now. It's about the message that's in Alcoholics Anonymous here. This message you can talk forever on. You need time to talk about it because it's more than just coming here and saying a few words. It's an application with a power that's there. That's why I said about step 1, 2, and 3. Man, I'll tell you, if you could just see where I was at one time and then see just exactly a turnaround, an actual turnaround, not only in money and jobs and girlfriends or wives, but actually inside, how I feel inside. Man, I've seen a lot of trouble, a lot of adversity, a lot of harm, a lot of hurts, sober. But God says, no, you stay with me and I'll take care of you. You stay with me, it's going to be all right. No harm will come to you. And that's exactly what I'm talking about right now. There's a message in Alcoholics Anonymous for each and every one of us, but only through the grace of God. My total dependence today is strictly with God. I talk to God all day long, and I go through Jesus Christ to talk to Him. But I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you what I do. But I had to learn to do this, to find this way of life in Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a beautiful life, and I certainly know that God is in here tonight. Every one of us are being watched over, protected by. There is a message here tonight. I don't know who it's for, because I'm only a messenger. I'm not the message. And this is all about Alcoholics Anonymous. Thanks.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.